Good morning, it's Tess, and today is tip 387, and I'm going to call it It's All About the Attitude. And I have to be transparent and say that this idea kind of came to me as something I researched off of something that Doc V posted for all of us in our paid group. And it kind of made me look up some additional information, and I found an article with 44 quotes related to attitude and change and how to keep moving forward. And I think that we're kind of in that point right now of either, for those of us in the northern hemisphere, we're entering spring. For those of us in the southern hemisphere, they're entering fall. But it's a new season, a new change, kind of a way to look at an opportunity to make changes or for something new. So I kind of looked through this article that had a bunch of quotes, and I picked out my favorites. Hello, Mary Lynn, good to see you. I see a couple others on, but I don't see all their names. So just hello and thank you for being here. And so I thought, and like I said, my first idea came from some homework I was doing related to Doc V's challenge, and it was kind of talking about attitude. So I looked up an article that gave 44 quotes related to attitude, just to see what would inspire me, because right now, as we go into spring, as a busy season will start to wind down, as things are opening up and people are starting to get into educational opportunities, I wanted to think about quotes that might help me as I'm pushing forward. And I found a really good one, and it had 44 quotes, but of course I'm only going to pick out a few of them because I don't want to be on here too long. I know Doc V, and for those of us in the paid challenge, he'll be on fairly soon. And I want to make sure I get this going because I have been missing on and off lately. And the first thing that this article basically said is that change is all about your attitude. Your attitude towards change is, are you open to change, or are you being an attitude and saying, I'm not going to do it, and it's just too hard, and I don't like to, and it's not this, and it's not that. We've talked about it in group, and we've talked about it multiple times connected, like with Doc V, but you can think about it in all areas of your life, like the money school stuff that Chris Nagel works on, the law of attraction stuff that Zara Mahoon works on. It's all about, are you open to truly trying to change your life, to try to get something more, to try to accomplish more? It does come down to us, ourselves. Oh, good morning. So good to see you. Thank you. Good to see everyone. Thank you for being here. And like I said, I'm just looking for ways to keep myself motivated and keep myself pushing forward. And I thought I would share, when I read through this article of 44 quotes, I didn't want to sit here and read off 44 quotes. So I just pulled some out that were meaningful to me. And that first one about change is about attitude, I think that is so true. Because if we don't recognize that our attitude about change hugely impacts whether a change is ever possible. If we go into it, and Doc V will point this out time after time, I can't drink water. I don't like the taste of water. I don't like green smoothies. I won't. That attitude is never going to let change happen. So we have to try to recognize, and it is almost, I think that's the first attitude we all go to. So if you can recognize it faster and catch it and try to change the words a little bit, it'll help you. The second thing they talked about is, remember that no matter whether this is spring and a chance for a new beginning, every single day is a restart. If you had a bad day yesterday, today is a new fresh start. If it's bad right now, next hour is a fresh new start. We have to start grabbing a hold faster so that we can turn it around when something goes wrong. Every day is a new start. Every hour is a new start. Every week is a new start. Sometimes we put that new start so far off down the line that we create more damage before we get there, and we cement habits that we don't want to hold on to before we get to what we're calling the new start. We have to look for a narrower window to create that new start and get our attitudes, shake them up, and make our attitudes open to new opportunities. It will help us so much in the long run. And I do see a few more on, so hello. I can't see all the names, but thank you for being here. The next one they talked about is, so we know our attitude is going to impact whether we're willing to change. We know that every single day, every single hour, we have opportunities to fresh start. We know that we will do better if we take a chance for a fresh start faster instead of prolonging it. It doesn't have to be New Year's. It doesn't have to be next month. It doesn't have to be next Sunday. It can be tomorrow. It can be 1 hour from now. Actually, 1 hour from now is the best bet. Right now, this minute is probably the best bet. The next one they talked about is, remember that sometimes there's rejection in life and sometimes there's failure in life, but be very careful to keep jumping forward and get your attitude in the right spot, because if you start to dwell in rejection, it creates self-doubt and it creates self-worth issues. I know that for me has been a historical problem, so be really careful. Try to do the reset faster, meaning stop the clock. If something went wrong this hour, you get a new hour starting on what is it going to be, 9 o'clock. You get a new day starting tomorrow. We got to stop waiting for next Sunday or next month or next year. Our resets start instantly, because if we don't start those resets faster, we allow rejection, and it creates self-doubt, and it creates self-worth issues. And those will make your journey so much harder than you ever want them. If you reset your clock faster, there's not as much time for those doubts and that self-worth issue to cement in. Let yourself feel good. Allow yourself to learn to feel better about your journey. Well, you know what? This path didn't work. This green smoothie didn't taste so good, but I learned something, and I think that tomorrow I might add a little bit more fruit and a little less vegetable, and I can eventually get this down to where it's something I truly love. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Because I'm everything I'm saying to you guys, I've had to do, and I've had to do for the past year or two. And so I'm just hoping, one, to remember by sharing it with you, and two, to help you. We can start anytime for a new beginning. I never recognized before I started doing this different type of studying, that I allowed self-doubt and self-worth issues to cement because I kept waiting for a future day to start fresh again. Don't do that to yourselves. You're worth so much more, and you can accomplish so much between now and that point that you're waiting to happen. Right now, 9 o'clock is that fresh start. Oh, thank you. That means a lot to me, because that's for me too. I need to keep pushing forward, and I need to keep changing, and I need to stop. We all need to stop looking at where we think our failures are and start pushing forward just a little bit, recognizing that if we hesitate to reset next hour or tomorrow at the latest, don't even wait till next Sunday. If we don't reset faster, self-doubt, self-worth, and all the naysaying starts to get cemented in. And I'm going to tell you guys, it took months of I am affirmations for hours at a time when I first got involved in Doc V's challenge to overcome those issues. So I'm recognizing now I got to get on it faster. And I think for all of us, I don't think we realize that if we don't hit that reset faster, we are building those doubts, and we just don't want to build those doubts. The next thing that kind of came up is it says, and this one, like I said, there were 44 quotes about change, and these are just a few of them that were important to me. I'll probably share more later. But this one kind of hit me. It said, everyone wants to change the world, but we forget that the change starts with us. And I'm like, oh, wow, that was a big one for me. I'm like, yeah, it is true, because I think that life is meaningful if I can be there and help other people and be a part of making this world a better place. Well, I guess it really does start with me. What can I do to make myself better so that what I'm presenting to everybody else is better and maybe helpful to everyone else? So I hope that you find that helpful. Remember, we're not starting in a week, we're not starting in a month, and we're not starting in a year. Our fresh start is at the beginning of every single hour. And if you can, at the beginning of every single minute. The next one they talked about is improvement is change. And consistent, continual change leads to amazing results. So what they were saying is that they were kind of talking about in the passage that we all fight change, but improvement only comes through change. And if you want the big changes or the amazing results, it's because you never stopped changing. I know that with my own journey. When I first had my surgery, I thought I was going to eat the way the doctor told me immediately after surgery for the rest of my life. Then I realized after about 2.5 years, my weight loss had completely stalled. And I was at that critical point. Am I going to start gaining weight, or am I going to continue losing? Thank heaven I found Doc V, and he started challenging me to change the way I eat. I now understand that whenever my weight loss stalls, I have to reevaluate. Do I need to do something more about moving? Do I need to work on my mindset, meaning my attitude? Does my attitude need an adjustment? Or do I need to change something about my foods? I know that the reason I'm still in this journey 5.5+ years out is because I've recognized that I'm going to have to always change. What I'm doing today is going to have to be different a month from now, 3 months from now, or a year from now. So make it fun. If you make it fun and start to learn to enjoy learning something new, you can help other people in your journey and it can be enjoyable. I love to learn, so that's helpful to me, but learn to make it fun. And then the change will be more bearable and you will have a better attitude. Another thing they talk about is education, and I guess I really just talked about this. Education is the most powerful weapon for change and for improving your attitude. And I do agree with that. I've had to educate myself on what can I do to make my eating a little better? What can I do to make my movement a little better? And really for most of you out there, my movement is simply steps. I just count steps. And over the course of a year, I just keep increasing my steps. I started with low steps a year ago and they're increasing now. That's all. I just worry about steps. For you, it might be push-ups. For you, it might be going to the gym. For you, it might be a trainer. I'm not saying that at some point in time that won't be what I need, but for right now, I'm just doing steps in the morning with my mom. And yes, we already did that this morning. So that's what I'm working on because I know that tomorrow it might be something different. And I'm okay with that because it's going to be fun. When I first started walking, I was walking by myself. I never thought that it would turn into something that I was doing with my mom every day. So be open. It might create some amazing things for you. It says, don't fight old habits. Don't even think about them. Don't go there. Just build new. Forget about fixing the past. Forget about changing your old habits. Forget about focusing back there. Just juice. And the last point that I'll kind of talk about today, and this is a Martin Luther King quote, it says, if you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. Just move forward. And what I want to share about this is when I was going to the gym the first time I lost over 100 pounds, we had a woman who could not walk up or down the stairs. She literally would turn herself around, put her butt on the bottom step, and push herself up every single step. And I bet there were 30 steps to get upstairs to where the cardio exercise rooms were. Within a year, that woman was walking up and down those steps. So that quote is very meaningful to me. And whenever it comes before me, I think about that woman. And to this day, she had to give up her career in cosmetic. She was a hairdresser, and she had to give up her career at that time because she couldn't stand. And she literally, I'm going to tell you, for months, she literally would turn around and push herself up the stairs. Well, I follow her on Facebook, and she is back to being a hairdresser. She is on her feet all day long. And all it took was that she couldn't run, she couldn't fly, she couldn't walk. All she could do basically is crawl up those stairs backwards, pushing herself up. But now, 10, 15 years later, she's back to a career that she loved, and she's standing all day long. So it's true what Martin Luther King said. If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But just take a step forward. And if your attitude's getting in the way, shift that attitude. You got to be happy, joyful, and excited, because moving forward and achieving things feels really good. Because the alternative to learning and getting excited about moving forward is you start to feel rejection. It destroys your self-worth. You get self-doubt and you get stuck. Don't get stuck. We're dawning on a new world. Let's get out there and let's get everything we can for ourselves, because there's unlimited resources out there for everybody. And let's all go out there and get our piece of that pie. Have a beautiful Sunday, and thank you for being here.